All righty. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you are having a fantastic Friday. And we're back on the air. And I have two of my best teammates here with me today. Roy, our producer, and Brock Gregg are going to be joining us. I just want to tell everybody that I love TRTA, and I am so glad that you are spending some time with us this afternoon. And this background that I've got today is not my normal background. I've been trying to figure out what I have done with the image that is the TRTA capital. Well, it's a capital, and then it's the TRTA logo. But I'm really excited. I have started my road journeys. And I'm going to call out some of our folks. We've got Bernie is here, and it says Wise Duffy. So hello to @WiseDuffy. Paul is here from Isleta, and they've got an hour. They got a whole extra hour in the day, so that's great. And then we have Diana is here from Wilco. I will be in Wilco in the next few weeks. I believe I'm going to be visiting. And there is Janelle and joining us on Facebook. Hello. Galveston is here. All right. We're getting people tuned in. We've got some pretty cool and exciting news that we're going to be doing and sharing with everybody. I see Mary is here. Mary Widmeyer is our legislative coordinator. So that means that the boss is watching. I'm glad you're here, Mary. Beaumont is here. All right, let's continue to take a peek at the folks that are tuning in, but let's kind of get our show underway. Brock and Roy, why don't you come on into the stream and say hi?
Hello, everybody.
Right at the same time. Good job, boys.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday indeed. Is that Roy talking? Because it's hard to hear.
Can you hear me now, Tim?
I got you, Brock. I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
So, Roy, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's an exciting time this time of month because we have not back to school at TRTA. So some of y'all may have been seeing a post or two on social media, or some of the emails we've been sending out. And we are celebrating not back to school. And so as a part of that, we've been highlighting the various chapters and what they're doing in their part of Texas to go not back to school. And we are also doing a giveaway, which is very exciting. If you go onto our website today, trta.org, and on that home page, you'll see a big banner. And we'll talk about not back to school. You click the button on the banner, it'll take you to a page. And on that page, there's a form. And if you complete that form, you will be entered into a giveaway that's going to occur at the end of this month to give away 5 $100 Amazon gift cards. This is for TRTA members only. You need to be a paid TRTA member. But if you are a paid TRTA member and you go onto our website, trta.org / not back to school, you go to that page, enter the form for the giveaway, you're going to be entered. It's going to be a heavy competition. We've got a lot of people signed up thus far, and that's exciting to me that there's a lot of interest in it. So that may not be what Tim wanted to lead the show with, but I wanted to, since I'm on screen, I wanted to mention that for our members.
All right, Roy, good job. Thank you very much. We're going to have you go ahead and say goodbye for just now. We may call you back in later. We're going to have to get Roy a better microphone. I don't know what's going on with microphones today, Brock.
It's been a tough day for microphones.
As you and I have been on multiple Zooms. Now, I don't know. I have been looking. I saw Joe Long. I have not talked to Joe Long in a long time. And I want to say hi to Joe Long. And there's a lot of folks that are tuning in. I saw Richard Briggs tune in. I talked to him earlier this week, but I'm looking for any of my friends from Laredo, Brock. I've got to show something off real quick, and then we're going to get into the show. All right.
No problem.
So I'm going to show off my, we got to go this way, my Laredo Yeti cup. This was a gift.
Ooh.
They celebrated their 50th birthday. And so they gave me this Yeti cup. Brock, as you and I are major coffee caffeine people,
Can't live without it.
I have to tell you that I am enjoying one of my favorite summer beverages, which is an espresso tonic.
Well, what?
An espresso tonic. I'm going to make you one of these days. It's got espresso,
Yeah.
probably more espresso than it should have. And then tonic water. And that's it. It's just light, refreshing for 100 million degree day like we're dealing with right now. It's excellent. So
Never had one. I've never had one of those. I have a question for you. When
I'm
you
ready.
make one for you,
I'm ready.
how many shots of espresso do you put in that Yeti cup?
And let's talk about the real reason that we're here today, Brock. You know that I cannot disclose the level of caffeine. All right. First of all, I'm glad that we're back. We've got social media that's going to start picking back up. There are a lot of things that are being planned for the rest of this year. I started this week in Midland, Brock. I drove from Austin or Dripping Springs to Midland and had an amazing time in Midland. Those people were fired up. They were ready to go. They were recruiting. They're talking to candidates. They are wondering what's going to happen in these elections. And then I drove from Midland to Klein, which is all the way over near Houston. And that was a long trip. And I want to say a special thanks to Jeannie Paul Turner, who kept me company while I was on a long portion of that drive. So Jeannie, if you're watching, thank you so much. And the people in Klein were really fired up. So if you're a leader in your chapter, please continue to send us any of your social media pictures of what you are doing in your chapter. I saw a lot of new members when I was both in Midland and in Klein. We are so proud of what our chapters are doing, that our districts are organized. And Brock, I mean, this is the time of the year where the rubber meets the road. So we are looking at, well, how would you characterize this coming election cycle?
It's going to be a bonanza. It's going to be a big one for sure. I think, and I'm so glad to hear that the folks are fired up out there. You mentioned Joe Long. I got to say hi. I got to see her earlier this year when I went up there to speak to that group, and it was absolutely wonderful. And she's a wonderful person. I think this election cycle, like all of them, they always say, well, this is the biggest election in your life. I think this one is going to be a big election for us because, as we know, I think this next session has to be about the teacher retirement system. And whenever that's on the plate, we really need to be paying attention to who we put on the team that we're going to be lobbying during the next legislative session. So it's going to be a really big one for sure.
I think the one word, is it one word or two words? Now I say this, the word that will characterize this election is turnout.
Mm-hmm.
Turnout is going to be critical in almost from the top of the ballot all the way to the end of the ballot. Whoever gets the most folks on the issues that matter the most to them is going to have, I think, the best day. We're going to have a lot of new elected officials in this Texas legislative session.
Without question.
We know for sure we're going to have a brand new Texas senator. And some of these elections are as close as, I mean, I've been here, you've been here longer than me. You've been here your whole life. I've only been here for the last 21 years, 22 years. And I can't remember a time that the elections seem to be as close, or at least that's what everybody seems to think, is that they're very, very close, and that the margin of error is tight, and it's going to come down to people showing up at the ballot box.
No doubt about it. And I think we have probably more legislative races, at least, especially in the House, with a real election where you have an opponent on each side. There are very few people that are, as we say, skating. They don't have an opponent in this election. So that makes it a lot more exciting and fun. And I hope the members pay attention and really vet those candidates and really ask them, okay, well, I hear you say that you love teachers. Well, we love teachers too, and everyone loves teachers. Now let's talk about these specific issues. Are you aware of where the retirement system is today and what it needs? Are you aware of what inflation has done to us, and be able to tell them sort of what it is, where we are, and what our lives are like, and then make sure we remember what their answers are, because that's really important. And the more we get our message out now and get people talking about our issues during the election cycle, in the election cycle, they need us, right? And that's when we're choosing our team. And then when we get to the game in the legislative session, they still need us, but we need them. So it's important to make sure that we really vet these candidates and find the ones that are committed to doing what we need done with our legislative priorities.
So we had very specific to that item, our legislative priorities.
Mm-hmm.
We had a committee hearing this week, not we, but the Texas House is in interim session. So the chairman of the committee, Stan Lambert, excellent guy. Love
Absolutely.
Stan Lambert. Love him to death. His wife is a retired school teacher.
Right.
She is a proud member of the Abilene Retired Teachers Association.
Betcha.
And they're great people. And Stan, Chairman Lambert, has an interim hearing on the statewide pension funds. So teacher retirement system, state employees retirement system. This was something that got on our calendar early. We were talking about it. We knew it was going to happen. We prepared our testimony, et cetera, et cetera. So let me ask you a couple of quick fire questions, Brock, and then we're going to get into some specific. Based on the testimony from this last week in the House Pensions, Investment, and Financial Services Committee, is the teacher retirement system actuarially sound?
No.
From the testimony that you were able to discern, has inflation had an impact on TRS retirees?
Without question. Without question.
Has that inflation stopped after 2023 when we were successful in passing Prop 9, allowing retirees to receive some relief at that time? Has inflation stopped?
It has not.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it has not.
So knowing that the teacher retirement system is not actuarially sound, I have to ask the question, was there something that retirees did or that TRS did that created a system that had been actuarially sound to cause it to become not actuarially sound? Was there anything that we did, something that the TRS might have done, or that the markets might have changed, that all of a sudden we find ourselves in this hole right now?
No, no, we didn't do anything to do that. Neither did TRS.
All right. So, I mean, for better part of a decade, this organization and the people that I see showing up on our chat, all of these folks from El Paso to Williamson County, from Dallas to Houston, from Sugar Land to Beaumont, to Mission, to McKinney, to Cy-Fair, to Colleen. All of these folks that are here, they've worked real hard to get the retirement system to a point where we're working with the legislators so that they have a fund that made our pension system sound, so that we could try to help these people in a more efficient way. So what has transpired that we are no longer actuarially sound?
I'll tell you what's transpired, but I want to also say that during that time period you just talked about, let's also mention active teachers because they're paying more contribution and than they ever have, and that went up for over a 6-year period. And so, they are very much affected by what's going on there as well. What was your question?
How did we get to a point where we're no longer actuarially sound?
Well, as you know, there's a funding period. That's how we measure things. And we were at 28 years on our funding period. That means we could pay off all of our liabilities in 28 years, which is considered actuarially sound in our statute, which says you have to be under 31 years. And that's, of course, very important to us as a group because the legislature's prohibited from considering any benefit increases during a legislative session unless we're actuarially sound. We got there this time when the last legislature passed the school finance and teacher salary increases. And in doing so, they added that we went from 28 years up to where we are now, which is 35 years. And it was not about investments. We've had the last year, our investments returned over 9%. They're expecting that this year they'll return over 13%. It was just about that decision on giving teachers a pay raise, which of course we supported, but the legislature chose not to also fund the costs that come along with that to the retirement system.
So what I heard, and I agree the way that you're representing that, and I think that's true. So the legislature did something good, right? They helped our active teachers. They deserved, the active teachers deserved and needed the help. But from the way the director of TRS sort of described it was that the legislature constructed that teacher pay enhancement. It benefited people that were closer to retirement. And because they're closer to retirement and they're going to be getting a higher wage, their benefit when they do retire is going to be higher. But the length of time that we have to get the earnings that might help pay for that or offset that cost to the retirement system, that is a much more compressed amount of time. And so the beauty of our retirement system is that we have a really simple math formula. Contributions plus investments equals benefits. Right. So those contributions and the earnings on the investments over a long period of time equals out the benefits that we pay. So in this particular scenario, you have a more compressed amount of time for people that are going to get paid more. It's going to increase their benefit, but we're not going to have them in the profession on a longer basis because they're closer to retirement. And therefore, there's a higher cost, a higher liability. So the legislature knew going into this that we were likely to fall out of actuarial soundness because we, as for one, told them that if they did it the way they were going to do it, we were likely going to lose actuarial soundness. And I think that TRS had spelled that out, and we just reinforced it. So that set up our testimony and sort of our view of what the priorities are looking like for us as an organization as we get into this extremely important time of the year. Some of the closest elections that we're going to see. A lot of people are going to be new in the legislature. We look at that pensions committee. We got folks that are there now that are not going to be coming back. Stan Lambert's one of them. We got some, a lot of the people on that committee were not around when some of these decisions were made years and years ago about making the retirement system actuarially sound. So that institutional knowledge is not as deep as maybe it was. So we are the group that will be the most active in educating these office seekers on the lay of the land as we come into this next legislative session. Our pension system needs to be funded in a way that is going to put us back into a solvency window or an actuarial soundness. Now, there was one comment that was made by a state rep, and I don't remember exactly who it was. And the comment was, how likely is it that the state of Texas and the teacher retirement system will ever default on paying these promised benefits? And I'm pretty sure I remember the answer, but do you remember what the answer was?
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely that you remember the answer, or very
unlikely that the state will ever default.
That's right.
And
so I'm sorry, Brock, I was just funning. So
no.
So yeah, he said it was very, I think Brian said, Director Guthrie said, very unlikely that Texas or the TRS will ever default on the payment of those benefits. And I remember another representative, I think from Dallas, asked the question, how likely is it that the legislature may go 20 years without giving retirees an increase? And I think that the question was truly designed and constructed in the person who asked it to really set up who would have thought that the state might go as long as 20 years.
Right.
Even with a pension system that is, let's face it, one of the best funded pension plans in the nation, that we would go 20 years without a lot of folks ever getting a cost of living raise of some kind. So now other takeaways that I'm going to talk about our views of this meeting in just a second, but any other takeaways that you thought are really important for our viewers today, because there's going to be a specific ask I'm going to make to our viewers as we get into the final comments. So any other important parts of that conversation?
I would only add that, what you're talking about with one legislator asking a question about the soundness of the fund and how the state is going to back it up no matter what. Another legislator taking attack and saying, well, how likely would it, be that, retirees would go 20 years without an increase is really a perfect model for what we're walking into here, because it shows that, there's two major things that we're dealing with. That is the security of the fund and making sure that it's sound. But who's the fund really for? And are we taking care of the people that the fund was created for in the first place? I mean, TRS is one of, if not, it's definitely one of the best pension systems in the nation, without question. They do a good job on almost everything that they do. I don't know of anything they don't do a good job on. But they don't set the benefits. They don't even set, the contributions, and they do a great job. But are we really taking care of the people who are going to retire from the system? And are we taking care of the people who are retired from the system and setting benefits in a way that not only takes care of them when they retire, but in some way continues to keep them up with the cost of living as we go forward? I think that's a perfect way to look at this next legislative session.
Yeah, we as an organization are focused on retirement security for our members, for all TRS retirees, and quite honestly, for all TRS members. And if I were to, ask people, how would you define retirement security? I'm sure we would get a lot of answers, but I would say that the first item that goes along with retirement security is you have to be able to afford the cost of living. And as you look at what the value of our TRS is all about, is the efficiency of a traditional retirement plan in a state that does not have Social Security with 95% of our school districts. So we cannot count on Social Security. Thank the Lord we won the repeal of the WEP and the GPO. But Brock, as you and I both know, that affected about half of all TRS retirees. And that tells me that there are, hundreds of thousands of people out there that don't have Social Security quarters, may not have a spouse who had Social Security quarters. You may have had two educators that worked in a school district, didn't pay Social Security. So we still cannot say that as a state that our active school employees can count on Social Security in the future. Plenty of our retirees cannot count on Social Security because they don't have those earnings. So the primary fundamental level of retirement security starts with what is the value of that pension. And the value of pension dollars in a state that does not provide any sort of guaranteed cost of living adjustment is that we are always subject to going down because of inflation.
Right.
And Brock, I don't know about you, but personally, I've not felt the impact of deflation on really anything in my life. So the value of the annuity isn't going up every year that the legislature says, hey, we'll wait until next time.
Right.
So that is, a fundamental part of our mission is to protect our traditional retirement plan, our defined benefit plan, which means making sure that the state is committed to its funding, and then continuing to work on two critical areas of retirement security for our members, one of which is the ability to go to the grocery store and pay for food, or pay for your bills with your annuity check, and then have good health care that will keep you healthy and allow you to have access to good medical care. And we know that our TRS care plan is in a much, much better position for all the work that has been done on it by TRS, by the legislature, and certainly by all of our TRTA members. So as we look at Brock, I've been working behind the scenes while you were talking. I apologize. I was passing notes. And the note that I passed was to Roy. Roy, are you there?
I'm here. I don't know that I received a note from you, but
it's an email. It's an email.
An email. Fantastic.
All right.
Okay.
Check your email because I want to put.
Oh yes, I see this here. Okay, I can get this up on the screen. I wanted to mention while I work on this that I was also passing notes with Ashley, our chief of staff, and she has your travel schedule. So if at the end of the show you want to have me show your travel schedule, I can do that too. But as we speak, I'll go ahead and get that PIFS testimony pulled up.
All right. While he's doing that, I see a comment from Erlene Hutchinson on Facebook saying that retirees should not be put in the position of having to lobby for ourselves every 2 years. The older we get, the more difficult it becomes in every way, physically, emotionally, intellectually. And the legislators throw us a bone every so often, knowing that most of us, well, maybe I won't read all of that. Now, these are her words, seeing that most of us may be dead or too weak to do anything about it. We are at their mercy, so there's no hope to get it fixed permanently, is there? Now, I love when our members put comments in the feed. So I'm reading these on Facebook and on YouTube. And Erlene, here is what I will answer any question with when it comes to hope. There's always hope as long as our members are strong. As long as we are active, there is hope. Brock, how many times did people tell us over the last 30 years there was no hope in repealing the WEP and the GPO?
Many, many times. And did we ever give up, Tim? Did we ever give up?
Never. Never. So we as an organization believe that the true solution to any of our challenges comes from a powerful organization of our members. And I credit Brock, who said this so eloquently that it burned inside. Now, he said that I was the one who said it, but I'm giving this one to him. He said, never underestimate the power of our members. And so I believe it. I live it. And my belief is that every time we go into a legislative session, all good things are possible. Okay.
I
now,
agree.
Brock, I will temper that with,
And there's and that's been my experience, and that's where that statement comes from. And sometimes, we don't always win, but a lot of times we do, and usually it is because the members come through. They
Amen.
come through when it's time for them to come through, and it's really hard for state legislatures and other public officials to say no to that because of what our members represent and what they've done with their lives.
So all good things are possible and all bad things are possible. And so we know that every legislative session, we have to be ready to go in there and do what we need to do. And so Erlene says, she continued her thought and just says, but will it ever get fixed with an index built in so we don't have to lobby every 2 years? We as an organization are looking at suggestions on how to achieve exactly that. Now, a couple of years ago, there was a bill filed that would have allowed for some sort of indexing, but it would not have indexed it to inflation. It would have indexed it to some earnings, excess earnings that the TRS had. It is an uphill challenge. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it and just say, that it is going to be possible, but it's not impossible. The one thing that it'll require, Brock, in my opinion, what it would require, number one, it would have a more stable funded retirement system that wasn't always, fluctuating, which means that we got to have either more investment earnings, which is tough because we don't control that,
Right.
Or you have higher contributions.
Right.
Now the legislature may come back and argue, well, you could have lower benefits. And I think some legislators in the past have brought bills forward that would lower the annuity in the early part of your retirement so that it would make it appear as though you were getting increases on the outside years of your retirement simply because they cut your benefit in the beginning. But that doesn't advantage anybody except for the legislature because they're getting, the optics of you getting increases. But what you're really getting is a cut on the front end to get the rest of it on the back end. And so, we're not in favor of those approaches. So, Erlene, it's not impossible, but it's also not easy. There are a lot of groups that would have to talk about the way to get that done. There are ways to do it. I don't know that it's going to happen this session. But as I said, whenever they come into that building, anything is possible. All right. We wanted to post something on the screen, or I asked Roy to do this. Let's scroll down to keep going. We'll go past our letter that was to the committee. We've shown, I think, this before. These are our legislative priorities. And our district presidents, our chapter presidents, our state legislative committee members, they have all been inundated with the information about our priorities, as well as the deep dive is what we'll show in just a second. But if you just take a quick look at this page, the first paragraph talks about our belief in the defined benefit plan and how we're going to defend that. I don't know if we're going to be fighting a fight to protect our defined benefit plan for all future retirees this coming session or not, but it's possible. And we wanted to be very clear that TRTA stands firmly behind the defined traditional benefit plan that we currently have. And the state is getting an excellent bargain when it comes to that plan. Priorities 1, 2, and 3 get us back to actuarial soundness, deliver a meaningful benefit enhancement, and fund TRS care. Go to the inside cover, Roy. I want to make sure that everybody sees that you can get a sense of where we're coming from on these issues, because we break each priority down with some key pieces of information that you can post on social media You can send this to your friend network. You can take a picture of this and put it on Instagram. You can go and visit with your elected official. You can go to a town hall. You can go to some place where you're going to see that the people who are running for office are going to be talking. You will have key data points about these main issues. Now, let's keep scrolling down. We'll go past priority 1. There's a lot of information there about funding. There's a lot of information on this priority 2 about how to help retirees with a benefit enhancement, 30% inflation pressure, the average monthly annuity. There are so many retirees. We had a tremendous amount of support when it came to Prop 9. That, of course, just not retired teachers who went out and voted. That was all Texans who showed up at the polls. 84% of them said, you got to help these folks. They deserve it. They earned it. They need it. And they showed up to the polls and they voted for us. 84% said, yeah, let's do this. So we're talking about the kinds of benefit enhancements that that the legislators will be able to decide. We get to the third page, or the last page, I should say, and we start talking about funding TRS care. And there's information here about how to connect with TRTA. So Roy, come off of the screen, and I'll share that somebody said, hey, we need talking points. We need an action plan. We need talking points, yes. And we have talking points. It's on our, I hate it when somebody says, oh, you visit our website and you can get, we're communicating this to all of you directly through the inside line, number 1. So if you're new to TRTA and you're not yet signed up on the inside line, that is our e-newsletter. This document with some small changes, I have asked that our communications team put this entire document in our next TRTA magazine. So all TRTA members will receive a copy of that document, and you will be able to very carefully just pull that entire thing out. And if you set up a meeting with an elected official or an office seeker, or if you're talking to your active teacher friends, maybe you know a principal of a school, maybe you know a superintendent, you will be able to take that document and give it to people that are in the know, decision makers, or that need to be able to help communicate this information before election day. We want to have this in your hands. Our target is by the middle of September. So in that amount of time, you will have the opportunity to socialize this document with those people that are seeking office. Now, you're not the only ones, TRTA members, that are going to be doing it. Our state legislative committee, our chapter presidents, our district presidents, they are formulating plans right now that put that document in the hands of those elected officials. Brock, told our friends in Midland that it was my opinion that in this supercharged political environment that we are in right now, a lot of people that are asking for a vote are not necessarily talking about retired school employees right now. The only thing that's going to change that is all of us talking about us. So the more we share what our issues are, the higher percentage chance of likelihood that we're going to get the attention that we need. My mother used to say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And y'all, we need your help. I mean, there's just no way to get around the fact that we need you all talking. And y'all, some of you are amazing social media experts. Brock and I are not.
To say the least.
I try. I'm not the social media person. Some of you are really good at this. Please, just even if you were to take one snippet off of those talking points and put it on your social media, my guess is you'd probably get some positive commentary And the more that others share it, the more it gets out there. That's the whole power of social media. A lot of WEP and GPO was able to be repealed was because it was big in social media. I mean, no question about that.
For sure.
All right, Brock, I'm getting fired up. There are some comments here about how do we know who these candidates are that are supporting us? We're working on some ideas that might get to some important social media interfacing interviews, conversations with candidates running for office. So we're in those discussions right now. And if you're able to keep an eye on the TRTA Inside Line, we'll make those announcements and let you all know when those things are happening. I'm going to be on the road a lot this fall. Brock is going to be in the office. What I am asking is that if you know any of these office seekers, share this information with them. TRS is not actuarially sound. It needs to be. Funding needs to be improved for TRS. We need to work together, bring the stakeholders in together, treat our active teachers with respect, treat our retirees with respect. Let everyone hear that Prop 9 and what we did in 2023 did not stop inflation from impacting our school employee retirees. We still need help. The legislature will tell us that they're going to have lesser dollars in the budget. Brock, my guess is that everybody's going to, as soon as the elections are over, the idea of how little money the state actually has in a budget is going to be much more in abundance when people are talking about that. You know, before the elections, it's a matter of priority. We just have to get our priorities right.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the way it goes.
That's the way it always goes.
And then what happens after the elections?
Oh, well, we don't have enough money.
Woe is us.
Well, wait a second.
Right.
I thought you said it was about priorities.
Yeah,
I hear
that's
you.
right.
I hear you, Tim.
So, Brock, you're when you said earlier that we have to get a verbal commitment, we have to get some kind of commitment from these people. We don't know who's going to win in these offices. We don't know who's going to win these elections. So get out there and talk to them, share that information, post it, get ready to go to your fall chapter meetings. If you're watching this on social media and you have not been to a chapter meeting in a while, and maybe you don't even know what your chapters are, contact us in the office. We'll help you find a chapter. The rubber meets the road in those chapters, those TRTA chapters, when those office seekers show up and they see all those people in that room and they think that if they have to come back, the next time they would see all of those faces, those expectant, needing faces of the members that are there, and they have to come back and say, I couldn't deliver. That's a politician's worst nightmare.
And there's another thing about those faces in there that the smart candidates know. They vote. Our people vote. So the smart candidates know that they need to be in that meeting, and they need to be meeting those people and doing their best to please those people. And that's where our strength lies, is in our voting and our people. And so I think you're right on target, Tim, that the chapter meeting is where the rubber meets the road. That's where the relationships are built. That's where the commitments are made.
Saw that Roy had posted that a new member on Facebook said she's going to be attending her first one in September. I'd encourage you to, I think it's Stacy. I'd encourage you to go on our not back to school event that we're doing and maybe win one of those $100 gift cards. We're very excited about you being here, being a part of this group. Thanks for joining us today. A couple other little tidbits as we wind up. Brock, first of all, Brock, thank you for joining me with us today. We are starting a podcast, and podcasting is everywhere, Brock.
Yes, I've heard that.
Everybody's doing it. I just can't believe how many podcasters there are. So which is fine because when I drove from Austin to Midland, most of my listening was a podcast of some kind. So there's lots of content out there. And we're going to be starting our podcast. We're going to do, these are going to be a little different than our Facebook Fridays. When I first got here and I started the Inside Line, I really wanted our Inside Line to be almost exclusively about our legislative activities.
Right.
Right. So that is really protected space. You know, we don't sell that information. We don't give those email addresses, out to anybody. That's just our members really getting the immediate news. So the Facebook Fridays and our live social media events, a lot of those are about what's going on right now.
Right now.
So Brock, what I'm wanting to do with our podcast, which is going to be both audio and video, is I want us to branch out into some of those other areas that TRTA is involved in, but isn't just about advocacy. And Brock, you know that I'm all about ACE right now, advocacy, community, and engagement.
Right.
And we have a big community. You know, getting to the retirement finish line does not mean that people are just hitting a rocking chair all of a sudden and they're not doing anything. It's a whole new part of their life. So we want to have some fun. We want to find out some interesting topics going on around this state. And we're going to be bringing a show called What's Next? TRTA podcast about what's next. Sometimes that's going to be about what's next in your life and retirement. Sometimes it's going to be about medical technology. Sometimes it's going to be about what's happening in our public schools. Sometimes it's going to be about what's next in sports and what's going on with high school football or college football. You know, there are any number of different topics that we want to get into. Kelly Damphouse is the president at Texas State University. He and I are very close friends. My kids went, or at least one of them went to Texas State. I've gotten to know him pretty well. He's agreed to do a show with us. We've got a lot of folks coming. We're going to do one on hobbies and, things that people are doing for fun in their retirement. So our podcast is getting started. Very excited about it. And we got a lot of other new things happening as well. And so that'll be coming. We're going to do kind of an introductory show next Wednesday, I believe. Roy, come in here if that's wrong. Let us know right now. I don't. He's coming on.
That's correct. Next Wednesday, we're going to start it off with a live show, and then from there, many of them will be recorded. So, but it's going to be fun. We've been busy brainstorming different subjects to go on about. As Tim said, outside of just the legislative activities, which many of y'all in this chat are very excited and passionate about the legislative activities. And as Tim says, the focus of our organization is ACE, advocacy, community, and engagement. And so this podcast, while it will touch on advocacy with some of the guests, it will also touch on that community and engagement aspect of things. So we're excited to start What's Next, coming to Apple Podcasts or Spotify near you.
Yeah, Brock, I had several ideas about that. The title of that show, as a matter of fact, one of them I had, it was What Now?
What now?
It's always something, right?
So it sounds exciting and it sounds fun. And that is really important. And I think our members like to have fun, and I think they'll really be attracted to this type of a show. I really do.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Brock. And I appreciate everybody who has been tuned in today. I always try to figure out what is the amount of time that we should be here together. We're 49 minutes into this. I feel like we've only been here for the last 5 minutes, but I love it. I love our members. I love being on the road. This is our time. This is it. This is what we do, everybody. We are coming into a legislative session. We are getting our members charged up and ready to go. If you have not yet had a chance to renew your dues, please do that. If you have not invited a brand new retiree to join our association, please do that. I mean, this is the whole point. And earlier this week, I sent out an email, Brock, and partly because we are in our renewal period, and a lot of folks are showing up, and I remember legislators and other TRTA members have said, listen, if we can't get our own community interested in our issues and what we're doing enough to have them want to be a part of us as an organization, why would legislators care?
Right.
So that just really cut, right to the chase. So y'all, you're doing great. Look forward to getting the news bulletin out to you. You can get a lot of this information on our website right now. There have been links that have been posted here. Continue the chat as we go out. We'll respond to the communications on YouTube and Facebook as they come in. Y'all have a great week. And Brock, I will let you sign us off with a final comment.
My final comment is thank you so much. And please help us get the message out. Get the message out now. Now is the time. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Talk to y'all next time.